Welcome back to The Edge, here for some more NBA playoff coverage. I'm your host, Jacob Wayne, joined by Braxton Reynolds, who has been on an absolute heater in the first basket market. Just been crushing the books, man. I believe up around 25, you said 25 to 29 units, somewhere around that range. Since the start of losing track at this point. But yeah, if you've been following him on Twitter, his picks have been going crazy. So going to get into some of those today. We'll hit some other player props as well. We're going to get things started here with the Phoenix Suns at the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Wolves obviously took game one in this series. It's an interesting one. And I saw somebody on Twitter say that in these series, game one is the acquaintance game, and then game two is the adjustment game. Feels like game one was the adjustment game here. These teams knew each other super well, played each other in the regular season finale, and what was almost a playoff game. Very important stakes for both teams. So we saw Chris Finch make some pretty major adjustments after the Suns swept them in the regular season. Now it's time for Frank Vogel to counter. Excited to see how that all goes. But going to start in the first basket market. Braxton, anybody who you're eyeing in this game?
Yeah, so I'm going Kevin Durant plus 500 on FanDuel, 0.7 units. And then I'm also playing Bradley Beal plus 800 FanDuel and 0.5 units. So Durant, Nurkic, and Beal, they're top three in game first field goal attempt percentage in this matchup. I don't like the matchup for Nurkic, though, because Minnesota defends the rim at a high level. They neutralize centers, and he only had 6 field goal attempts in game one. Compare that to Durant, who had 9 in the first quarter alone. So I really like Durant in the spot. I think, with the way Minnesota gives up mid-range jumpers and with their length, Durant is maybe the only guy that can get his shot off consistently, because Jaden McDaniels, Anthony Edwards, these are lengthy guys. I'm not sure Booker and Grayson Allen are really going to thrive in this matchup. So I like the Durant piece. And then Beal at plus 800, I think, just given his mid-range shot and his first basket usage, it's definitely a play to me at that price. I would play it down to like plus 600, I think, whereas Durant may be down to like plus 400.
Love it, man. Yeah. Do we have any intel on Grayson Allen today? I haven't been able to check this morning. Curious if he's going to go.
I don't know.
So while you're looking for that, if you don't mind, I'll get into my first player prop for this game, which is going to be Rudy Gobert over 12.5 rebounds and just bullied Jusuf Nurkic in game one. 16 rebounds on 27 rebounding chances. He played 37 minutes in the game, which was pretty major to me. No issues with foul trouble, no issues with being played off the court, like people like to say he's going to be in this series. I think he's gotten a lot better at defending on the perimeter, by the way, and like defending in space. I think his minutes are going to stay high throughout the series, which is crucial because when he plays 37 or more minutes, he's hit the over on this rebounding line in 19 of 26 games, 73%. And then with 34 plus minutes, 32 of 45 games, 71%. So the Suns are going to try to go small more at some point. I think the Wolves are really smart with the zone defense they use to counter that small ball. We'll see how that kind of shakes out. But regardless, Gobert's going to stay on the court. The only way I really see this losing is foul trouble, which is possible, but I'm fine with that risk, and I love this number for Gobert in this game.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I think it's a good price. I'm not too worried about foul trouble, just based on Phoenix's, their shot profile. Yeah. So I think that's a good bet. Yeah.
Sweet.
And then for
you said you had a.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
You said you had a prop in this one. You like?
Yeah, I'm going Durant first quarter points leader at plus 470. I thought he was going to be favored after game one, but Booker and Edwards are around plus 160. So I'm kind of shocked to get plus 470 on this because Durant had 9 in game one. Second place was Edwards and Booker with 5. He nearly doubled anyone else's volume. And like I said earlier, this matchup, it's just kind of built for him to take their shots. He's an efficient scorer, so that won't be a problem for him. So I really like this prop at plus 470.
I'm surprised that Booker is favored ahead of him in that market. Booker his price is 24.5 points for the game. KD's at 26.5. We'll see what happens with Kyle Anderson today too, if he's able to go, because that kind of shifts their defensive coverages. But even if Jaden McDaniels is playing against KD more early on here, I still think KD is going to be aggressive. And yeah, I agree. This is a good matchup for him. Let's move on, Braxton, to game number 2 here. We got the Indiana Pacers at the Milwaukee Bucks. Bucks just kind of blitzed the Pacers in game 1. Dame went crazy, 35 points in the first half and then none in the second half. Do you think Dame gets off to a fast start again here, or are you going in a different direction with your first basket?
I'm going Bobby Portis at plus 550 FanDuel, 0.5 units. So Brook Lopez dominates the tip-off here. It would be pretty shocking if he lost. And Indiana, they give up 55% of opponent first quarter attempts were in the paint. That was the largest rate in the NBA. They pretty much bled paint attempts early. And I think Bobby Portis is more suited to take that volume because Brook Lopez, at this stage of the game, he's more of a pick and pop guy away from the rim. And then Lillard too, he's playing away from the rim too. I think Portis, his scoring around the basket, he's efficient. He's really suited for this matchup. Only 4 starts this year, so you can't really extract anything from, his first basket trends. But last year when he had a decent amount of starts, he did take it at a high rate. So, using historical data, it's a good play for Portis too.
Yeah, I love Portis in this matchup overall. I'm going to play his points prop. It leads perfectly into that. Took him over 17.5 points in this one. And Dame Lillard just went crazy in the first half. He was their entire offense. And we saw the Pacers adjust in the second half, start trapping him, start blitzing him more at the point of attack. And that led to a lot more opportunity for Bobby Portis. Unfortunately, he got into foul trouble late in the game. So that hurt his output overall. He only shot 3 of 9 in the second half too, so that hurt his output. But I do see this being a pretty big Bobby Portis series as long as Giannis remains out. Given the Pacers are a very good defense at defending on the perimeter, they don't allow a ton of open threes, but they really struggle to defend around the rim. So I think Portis has a great chance to succeed here. I have one more prop I'll hit. Anything else you want to get to in this game, Braxton?
Yeah, I'm going Aaron Nesmith over 1.5 threes at minus 130 on FanDuel. So going back to the well on this one, he went 1 for 7 in game 1. Indiana generated a ton of good looks for him. They generated 34 catch and shoot attempts, 31 wide open threes. Both of those marks would have led the NBA this year. So I know Halliburton wasn't doing much as a scorer, but he was actually pretty effective as an orchestrator and setting up good shot quality for spot up shooters. So I think Nesmith in the spot, I don't see him go 1 for 7 again. He's a good shooter. He should be around 40% on catch and shoot shots. I think this line should be either more juiced or even 2.5. So I'm happy to get minus 130 on this.
Love that. Again, goes right into my next prop hand in hand with this one. I have Tyrese Halliburton over 10.5 assists, and I think a lot of people are going to be hesitant to trust him after a pretty disappointing first game in the playoffs. But when I went through the shot numbers, the Pacers generated 38 open or wide open threes in the game. They hit 7 of them, which is an 18% clip. Whether that's nerves and their young team's first road playoff environment, like whatever the case may be, that's not happening. I feel pretty comfortable saying that. I like the Pacers to win today because of that, but I'm isolating a little bit of the variance on the Bucks side and just betting on Halliburton's assists. He had 20 potential assists in that game, only cashed 8 of them. When he has between 16 and 20 potential assists, he's covered this number in 21 to 27 games this season. Over 10.5 assists in 3 or 4 games against the Bucks during the regular season, averaging 12 per game. The Bucks were also trapping Hallie quite a bit at the point of attack, leaving those open shooters. And bottom line, I just expect them to shoot better in this game. And that's going to benefit Halliburton's assist rate. He's also just been more passive as he's playing through this injury. He's not looking for his shot quite as much. So I think that's another reason to like his assist prop today. So give me Hallie over 10.5 assists. Braxton, let's close it out here. Mavericks at Clippers. Still a chance I'm going to be at this game. Haven't bought tickets yet, but very tempted to drive back up to LA to go to this one again. But looking at this game here, I'm still waiting to see if potentially Kawhi's going to be back today. But looking at the current numbers, anything you like in the first basket market?
Yeah, I'm only playing first basket in this game. No player props for me, but a lot of them. Kyrie Irving, zero point 0.5 units at plus 650 FanDuel. I'm also playing my long shots here. Luka Doncic 3 point, zero point 0.4 units plus 2,600, surprisingly, on FanDuel. And then PJ Washington 3 point, zero point 0.4 units plus 2,900 on FanDuel. So I think Gafford's going to win the tip. Zubac was maybe, I think, the worst starting center for tip-off rate this year in the NBA. The Clippers just never seem to win the tip. I don't know if you noticed this throughout the season, but they were awful at it.
Yeah.
And 41% of opponent field goal attempts in the first quarter came from the three-point line for the Clippers. That was the eighth highest rate in the NBA. It just seems like opponents struggle to get to the rim against them, and that's credit to Zubac's defense and their wings. But they do allow a lot of catch and shoot threes and a lot of off the dribble threes. That's going to benefit Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic, PJ Washington, and Doncic and Washington got 19 three-point attempts in game one. 19. Doncic led the NBA in first quarter above the break three-point attempts per game, post All-Star break. That off the dribble three that he took in game one, I definitely see that happening again in this game. So I think plus 2,600 is a crazy price considering Luka, his first basket volume, his massive amount of three-point attempts. He doesn't really get to the rim anymore. I'm not sure why he changed his shot profile, but he's more of a jump shooter now. I think I would price this around plus 1,800, maybe plus 1,700. So I'm thrilled to get plus 2,600 here.
I love that. Yeah, I would agree on the last Luka point you made. He's not really looking to attack the rim quite as much. Also, Zubac led the NBA in field goal percentage allowed at the rim. I love reminding people of that because that's my guy. Zubac was awesome in game one, man, and I really hope that continues throughout the series. But as far as player props go in this game, I'm hesitant to bet anything as of now, especially on the Clippers side with the uncertainty about Kawhi's status for this game. We'll know more later on tonight as we get closer to tip-off. One I don't mind right now is Luka over 9.5 assists. I think they're just going to have to get their role players more involved in this game. Luka is going to have to play make a little bit more in this one. The Mavs converted on just 7 of 29 open or wide open three-point shots in game one. It's a 24% hit rate. Would expect that to be quite a bit higher. Kind of goes into what you were talking about with the catch and shoot threes for the first basket. I like a double-double parlay if you want to build that out with Gobert, Halliburton, and Luka. I think that's a good opportunity to get some action on these stars in these games. But as of now, nothing official in the player prop department for me for this Clippers-Mavs game. Braxton, I'll let you recap your first basket picks before we dive here.
Yeah, so all these are on FanDuel. Durant, 0.7 units. Beal, 0.5 units. Portis, 0.5 units. Irving, 0.5 units. Doncic, 3 point, 0.4 units. And then PJ Washington, 3 point, 0.4 units for a total of 3 units risked.
Love it. Yeah, Braxton's been on a heater, so hopefully that continues. I love watching how you attack these markets, man. We'll have to get you on a podcast one of these days, talking through some of your process because I think it's super interesting. But hope you guys enjoy these 3 games here on Tuesday. Going to keep it rolling with more coverage throughout the week, so stay tuned for more. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. We'll catch you on the next video.